ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। So we are almost coming to the end of Aparokshanubhuti. Today it will be the last session, just last 6 verses remaining. And at the end of this text, Bhagwan Shankaracharya has explained the most important prakriya of Vedantic teaching. Prakriya means what? The module, the methodology of Vedantic teaching as to Brahma eva, ekameva advitiyam Brahma. There is only one thing, one Brahman, ekam eva advitiyam, one without a second. All that is there is only Brahman. All that is manifesting as this many faceted, variegated universe is nothing but Brahman. There is only one thing. All the plurality, all the multiplicity, all the duality, all the vanity and the attractiveness of the name and form universe that we see around us, that is not real. There is only one thing, that is ekameva advitiyam Brahma. Now, if that is the teaching of Upanishads, how do we come to terms with it? Because we have already seen that the whole Jagat that I am experiencing is something which is real for me. I'm transacting with it. I'm solidly feeling it. I'm solidly experiencing it. All my sukha, dukkha, everything comes from it. In that case, when I'm seeing around me only multiplicity, only plurality, only duality around me, that is my experience, then how can the Upanishads say that there's only one thing, ekameva advitiya Brahma? There's only one consciousness, one existence, and nothing else is there. For that, the most important prakriya or the methodology of teaching of our gurus, the parampara of the Guru Shishya parampara, sampradayika teaching of the Upanishads is what? It is called as the Adhyaropa-Apavada method of teaching, which we saw in detail in the last 1 or 2 sessions. I'll just summarize it for you. Where we see it, the summary is given here in the 239th verse. We completed up till the 238th verse last time. 239th verse actually summarizes the entire Adhyaropa-Apavada prakriya of teaching that there is only one consciousness, ekameva Brahma. There is only one Brahma. There are no two things. There are no multiple things. What we see as multiple is only an illusion. It is an experiential reality. It is a vyavaharika satyam. It is not the absolute reality. The absolute reality is only this ekameva advitiya Brahma Atma. That is myself. Ahameva. Ayam Atma Brahma. Aham eva. Ayam Atma Brahma eva. There's no difference between Brahman and Atma. There are two with regards to the whole creation, with regards with in the context of the Jagat. We say that which is the adhishtanam of everything is Brahman. And that which is the very content of this individual, so-called individual upadhi, we call it as the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. But ultimately the teaching is Atma eva Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma is nothing but that Brahman. Then how do you account for this world that we are seeing? We have already seen it in various other prakriyas. Drik, Drishya Prakriya, we have already seen. Panchakosha Prakriya, we have already seen in Vivek Chudamani and other texts. But the Adhyaropa-Apavada method, which is the ultimate teaching of the Upanishads, in denying the multiplicity that we experience around as false. Vedanta does not say that multiplicity does not exist, it does not negate it. It only says that the multiplicity and the duality that you experience around you is not as real as you think it is. That's all it is. It's something like a dream where it is experienced, but really it is not there. So, for that, this Adhyaropa Apavada method is that initially, for an initial mumukshu, where I do not know anything about Atma and Brahman, but then how does the Upanishad start teaching? They say that this whole universe that you see around you, including your body mind sense complex, is a product. Is what? Is a product. It's nothing but a product. That is a karyam. It is a product that you are seeing. If it is a product, then there must be a cause for that product. If there is a karyam, there must be a karana. If I see an ornament, a gold ornament, I see a chain, I see this chain. This is the karyam. This is the karyam. This is the effect. If it is an effect, if it's a product, then there must be a cause. So initially, Vedanta accepts that this whole thing that I am seeing is karyam or the effect. And the natural question would be, if this is the product, if this is the effect, all that I see, then what is the cause of this effect? What is the karanam of this effect? Now the Upanishad has to initially tell me that, yes, there is a karanam. That karanam is the all-pervasive existence, consciousness called Brahma, Atma or Brahma. That is the cause. So it says Jagat Karanam Brahma. Jagat is Karyam, step 1, accepted. The Jagat is Karyam, accepted. Second stage. For this Karyam called as a Jagat, there must be a Karanam. And what is this Karanam? This Karanam is Brahman, second stage of Adhyaropa-Apavada. That means what? This Brahman, this existence consciousness is the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam of this entire Jagat. It is the intelligent cause as well as the material cause of this entire perceived universe. So, two steps now. The first step is acceptance of the karyam or the product or the Jagat as real. Initially, number 1. Step number 2, for this karyam to be there should be a karanam. Brahman is the karanam. Step number 2. Now, in the step number 3, the Upanishads say, just imagine and examine whether the Jagat is really a karyam or not. Is Jagat really a karyam? Is this chain really a product? No. What is this chain? This chain is nothing but gold with a name, form, utility. What is the value of name, form, and utility? Vyavahara. I'm wearing it around my neck. Vyavahara. I can make it more stylish, more contemporary, whatever it is. Vyavahara. Utility, value, this chain has got. That's all. So, what is this chain? This chain is nothing but gold with the name, form, and utility. If I weigh the chain and if I weigh that gold which went to form the chain, there is nothing added. The name and form called as the chain and the utility called as the chain, really speaking, have no substance in it. So is this chain really a karyam? No. It is just the karanam gold with an imaginary added name and form simply for the sake of transactions. Therefore, is this chain really a karyam? Is it really a product? No. The third step is negating the karyatvam or the productness of the universe. So, what is the universe then? Is it a real something? Brahman converted into something? No. It is Brahman itself manifesting itself with many different names and forms. Brahman is as it is, the very Adhishtanam. And over it, a projection called as the universe takes place. So, is this projection really a product? Is it really a karyam? No. So, in third step, what are you doing? You are negating the karyatvam given to the prapancha. Prapancha includes my body, mind, sense complex. So, this whole world is not a real karyam because Brahman does not undergo any kind of a change to become the universe. Universe is a mere projection upon this Brahman. So the universe or the Jagat that I see around is not Karyam at all. It is only Brahman. Step 4. If there is no Karyam, if there is no Karyatvam for the Jagat, Karanatvam for Brahman also is gone. So let us see it once again with respect to this chain. Chain is the Karyam, step number 1. Gold is the Karanam, step number 2. Chain is nothing but gold with a superimposed projected name and form. So, in reality, the chain is really not a product at all. This is step number 3. If chain is not the product at all, the productness is negated from the chain, then this gold also loses the causeness. 4 steps of Adhyaropa-Apavada. First 2 steps are Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means we are projecting a reality on the universe, calling it a product, then imposing a Karanatvam on Brahman. That which is really not there, we are imposing. Step 3, we are denying or negating the Karyatvam of the universe itself, seeing this whole universe as a mere projected experiential reality. If the Jagat is not the product, then Brahman is not even the cause. So, what is Brahman? Karya Karana Vilakshana Sat Chit Ananda Atma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So, what does it mean? That means the Jagat, really speaking, there is no reality to it. There is no real Karyatvam in the Jagat. Therefore, Brahman is as it is, unsullied, asangaha, purnaha, nityaha, sarvagataha. So, this Brahman, ekameva advitiya. Ekameva advitiya Atma Brahma. That is what is the only thing that is there. Everything else, including all our transactions, is nothing but a mere experiential reality, mithya. Mithyatvam cannot be called as a product. A dream cannot be called as a product. A movie which is projected on a screen is mithya. It cannot be called as real or product. So, what is there? There is only unlimited, imperishable, ekameva advitiya atma. Ekam eva advitiyam. One and only, without a second. Without a second thing. So the world is not a second thing. Supposing you say karanam and karyam, then the karyam will have to be, it is real, then it will be two things. There will be a karanam, there will be a separate karyam. It is not so. With respect to Brahman, Brahman is karya karana vilakshana sat chit atma. Karya Karana Vilakshana. Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani, we saw in the Nididhyasana shlokas of Viveka Chudamani. Karya Karana Vilakshana Yat. Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. That which is other than the Karyam and Karanam. Aheyam Anupadeyam. There are many ways in which this is explained. This is what is called as the Adhyaropa-Apavada way of teaching. Initially, when I don't understand Vedanta, a karyatvam is given to the Jagat, karanatvam is given to Brahman. And when I slowly start understanding the mithyatvam, what is satyam and what is mithya, then karyatvam of the Jagat is negated. And therefore, Brahman is no longer the karanam also. It is by itself. Sve mahimni pratishtitam, that which is abiding in its own glory. That is what is called as the Adhyaropa-Apavada, which is going to summarize in the 239th verse here. Karye hi karanam pashyet, paschat karyam visarjayet, karanatvam svato nashyet, avishishtam bhavet munihi. Same thing. Karye hi karanam pashyet. Initially see the Jagat as karyam and see the karanam Brahman in it. Paschat karyam visarjayet. By understanding that this is a mere name and form, karyatvam visarjayet. Just negate it, put it out of your mind that the Jagat is karyam. Karanatvam svataha nashyet. When there is no karyam, karanatvam svataha nashyet. Brahman does not get the karanatvam, the causeness also is removed. Avishishtam bhavet munihi. What remains is ekameva advitiya Brahma Atma, and that is what the jnani abides in. He is ekameva advitiya Atma. He or she is ekameva advitiya Atma. Brahma, this is what is called as the Brahmanishta or Jnananishta. Jnananishta or Brahmanishta means abiding in Swaswarupam. Swaswarupam, I am abiding. There is nothing else other than me. Mayeva sakalam jatam, mayi sarvam pratishtitam. I am the only one. I am everywhere. Who am I? Not this body, mind, sense complex. When I say I am everything, I am everywhere. It's not the ahankara that I am talking about. What am I talking about? It is I, the Atma. It is I, my Swarupam, which I am talking about. So a jnani is nothing but that ekameva advitiya Atma. Brahmavidaha brahmaiva bhavati, it is said. The knower of Brahman is Brahman. We are all Brahman, but we do not know that. When we do not know Aham Brahmasmi, then all the individuality persists. Aham Brahmasmi iti Swarupe, in my own Swarupa, Pratishtitam, if it is abiding, I am abiding in my Atma Swarupa. That is called as moksha. That is called as Jivan Mukti. That person is a jnani and he is nothing but Brahman. All of us are Brahman. We are not the body, mind, sense complex. We are not the world. There is really no ahankara mamakara. It is our avidya that I am not Brahman. I don't know I am Brahman. I am Atma. It is that avidya because of which I take myself as an individual, and all my ahankaras and mamakaras, everything just gets superimposed upon me. That's it. I am what? Karya Karana Vilakshana Brahmatma Ahamasmi. Asanga Atma Ahamasmi. Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma Ahamasmi. Therefore, I am always free. My bondage that I feel is imposed upon me by myself. Really, there is no bondage. I am ever free. And understanding this is Atma Vidya. I have never been bound. I will never be bound. I am that imperishable Nitya Asanga Atma. When I understand, I am already that, but I do not know that I am that. The day, the minute my ignorance goes and this understanding becomes clear in me after Nididhyasanam, that truth I abide in, then there is nothing else. There's nothing other than me. What I was looking for, that peace, that happiness, that security is nothing but me. That ananda which I went after is nothing but me. That sukha that I went after is nothing but me. I am the very source of everything. Whatever I was searching for that something which will give me a lasting peace, and that something which will remove my bondage from me is nothing but myself. And that understanding is ultimately what is known as Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya, and that has to be assimilated. And this assimilation, which is done by these 15 angas of Nididhyasanam, where I am abiding in my Swarupam, and I can very, very absolutely boldly claim I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. There's nothing, there is no question of arrogance in it. Without understanding, if I say that, yes, there is arrogance. But when I'm abiding in my Swarupam and say, I am that Brahman, I'm nothing other than that Brahman. All my bondage is just an effect of avidya. I am the Asanga Atma. When I realize that, when I abide in this truth, that is called as Sadhyo Mukti. Okay. So now the 140th verse, next go to the next verse. Bhavitam tivra vegena vastu yannishchayatmana pumanstadhi bhavet shigram neyam brahmara kitavat. So it is said that the Nididhyasanam for a mumukshu, when he has understood the teaching of Vedanta, when there are no doubts in the teaching, but when the assimilation has not happened, when I'm still feeling the samsara, what I need to do is I have to do tivra vegena, committedly I have to do the Nididhyasanam. Because with that Nididhyasanam itself, I'll be able to abide in my Atma Swarupa, and then only I can say I'm Mukta. Knowing Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahma, I can say that for the sake of saying it. But if I'm still bound by Ahankara Mamakara, this knowledge is only here. It has not really become a spontaneous knowledge in me. It's not an assimilated knowledge in me. That is why Bhagavan Shankaracharya has given 15 limbs of Nididhyasana, where every limb is actually taking me to myself, to the source, my own self. Every limb of the Nididhyasana is showing me that you are that Brahman. I am that Brahman. So any anga of the Nididhyasana you take, where is it taking me? Not to the body, not to the mind, not to the sense complex, but to me, the very source it is taking me. So he says, Bhavitam tivra vegena vastuya nishchayatmana. Okay. So that Aham Brahmasmi knowledge, for it to be assimilated and to become a spontaneously available knowledge, Bhavitam, okay, It has to be constantly contemplated upon, tivra vegena, with lot of commitment, day in and day out. It's not a weekly program. It's not a monthly program. It's every day, day in and day out, all the time. Okay? Nishchayatmana. Nishchayatmana means what? With determination, with commitment. Puman stadhi bhavet shigram. Shigram, very soon this mumukshu will assimilate this knowledge. Bhavet shigram nyayam. That means what? I am nothing but this Brahman. I am the Nyaya Vastu. What I am looking for, what I was wanting to know, I am that only. What is Brahman? I am Brahman. If initially in the early stages, as soon as I start my Vedanta study, if I ask my Guru, hey Guru, what is Brahman? And if the Guru tells me, you are Brahman, I will not go again because I won't know what he's talking about. We have to go through all these steps, the way we have gone through in the last almost 4 years. We have been doing that, one after another, step after step, step by step, slowly, seeing ourselves as a mixture of Atma and Anatma, then looking at the world and the body mind sense complex as Anatma, then seeing that Anatma really is not a product, Anatma is really not Satyam, understanding the Mithyatvam of that, how to separate it. So many stages we have been through. The study of Vedanta is that, going through various stages of this understanding. So, Puman Stadhi Bhavet Shigram, with this Nididhyasanam, soon, Shigram Bhavet. Shigram, it depends on the intensity of my Nididhyasan. Nyayam Brahmara Kitavat. There is a Nyaya called as Brahmara Kita Nyaya. How real it is, we don't know, but that's a Nyaya which is very often talked about in Vedanta. It seems a wasp, a wasp builds some kind of a nest. I don't know to call it nest or what, with the which is made up of mud like thing, which is a small pot like thing it builds, and then there is a small opening for that. And it seems this Brahmara gets, picks a kita, a worm, and brings it into that particular thing for whatever, for its food or whatever. And it seems this Kita, this worm, is so scared of that Brahmara that it is constantly thinking of that Brahmara. And then it is said that in Vedanta, it is said that one day it becomes Brahmara itself and flies out. Now we don't know whether it is the evolution stage of that, where we have in insects, we have initially it is in the stage of a worm, and then slowly it develops its wings and then goes out of the thing. Whether it is that, we don't know, but this is called as a Brahmara Kita Nyaya, where the Kita or the worm is so constantly thinking of that Brahmara all the time there, that very soon it becomes the Brahmara and goes out. That's called as a Brahmara Kita Nyaya. That means what you constantly think, you become. That's it. Constantly think of something, we become that, and it becomes a habit. We become that. We constantly think that, oh, this is this, we become that. Whether it is a positive feeling, whether it's a happiness, whether it's negative feeling, depression, whatever it is, it's very well known. What you think, you become. What you constantly think, you think, that becomes your very personality and a very habit of yours. So what he says is, the more and more and more nididhyasanam that goes on, as to I'm not any of these, I'm Brahman. When that continuously goes on, when that is constantly contemplated upon, I become that very thing which I contemplate upon seriously. So he says, Brahmara Kitavat. Like that Kita which was constantly thinking out of fear or out of whatever it is, it becomes the Brahmara. Of course, the biologists have different way of explaining it. That's not the thing. So let us just, the meaning of the symbolism of this Brahmarakita Nyaya is that The more you think of something, the more you become that. So the more I contemplate upon, I'm not the body, mind, sense complex, I'm the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, Asanga Atma, Purna Atma. That is enough. I'm Asanga Atma, Aham Purna Atma. Purna Atma, I have nothing more to desire. The wanting person, that disappears from me. I no longer want to be a wanting person. I no longer want any ahankara and mamakara to afflict me, Asanga Atma. If these two things I am able to contemplate regularly, Asanga Atma Ahamasmi, nothing can really affect me. I am Asanga. Because everything else is a lower order of reality. I am the Purnatva Swarupa Atma. I really don't want anything. Yes, this body, mind, sense complex may need certain things. It needs security. It needs, yes, because it is matter principle. But I, the real I don't lack anything. So I no longer am a wanting person. I am no longer a becoming person. I am no longer a person afflicted by things and surroundings surrounding me. So he says, Brahmara Kitavat, but we have to see the symbolism of this particular Nyaya called as the Brahmara Kita Nyaya. Then he concludes in the next 2-3 verses to how do I see, how does this Jnani see the whole universe, including himself or herself? Verse 141. अदृश्यं भावरूपञ्च सर्वमेतच्चिदात्मकं सावधानतया नित्यं स्वात्मा स्वात्मानं भावयेत् बुधः. So this contemplator or Buddha means here intelligent person, a viveki, a jnani is also called as a Buddha, a person who is, intelligent. So, Swatmanau Nityam Savadhanataya Bhavayet Buddha. This Nididhyasaka, this Tivra Mumukshu, may contemplate upon Savadhanataya, consciously, awarefully, all the time, contemplate upon what? Swatmanam, Nityam Swatmanam. And what is that Swatma? Swa Atma means what is that Swatma? Adrishyam Bhava Rupancha Sarvam Yetat Chidatmakam. Adrishyam, that which is not seen. Bhava Rupam, Drishyam. Bhava Rupam is that which is experienced, that which is seen. Adrishyam, that which is not seen yet, not experienced, not known, maybe knowable later. Sarvametat Chidatmakaha. All this, known and unknown, seen and unseen, experienced and inexperienced, everything else is Chid Atmakaha. It is nothing but this Chit Atma, nothing but this awareness, consciousness. This is Sarvatma Bhava. I see myself, this Atma, in everything around me. Everything is me. There is only one thing. This is the Chit Atma. This is also Chit Atma. That is also everything that is around me. Drishyam, Adrishyam. That which is perceptible, experienceable. That which is imperceptible, inexperienceable. Unknown but knowable later. Known right now. Seen, unseen. Whatever is nothing but Chidatmakam. There is only this Atman. There is only this Brahman. Nothing else other than that. Iti savadhanataya nityam swatmanam bhavaye. All the time, awarefully. This is Nididhyasanam. Earlier it was sitting Nididhyasanam. Now it is Nityam Swatmanam Bhavayet Savadhanataya. All the time, Sada. So, all the time I contemplate upon, I am that Atma Swarupa which is in everything. Who am I? I am the Sarvatma. Sarva Atma. That which is the content of everything. That is the content of this body, mind, sense complex also. I am the content of everything. Sarvatmataya Svatmanam Bhavayet Buddha. This Buddha has to means this Nididhyasaka, this intelligent person who has come up till now. Let him contemplate, let him or her contemplate all the time Savadhanataya. Savadhanataya means what? Carefully. Not only that, carefully means what? Not getting distracted from it. That's all. Let it be a constant contemplation in all my actions, in all my vyavaharas, whatever I am doing. Let me see that the reality is I, the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. All else is nothing but a manifestation of the same Atma. I am there in everything, everywhere. Let me see this. Let me see myself as the Sarvatma. This is what is called as the Sarvatma Bhava, Bhavayet Buddha. And 142nd verse. Drishyam hyadrishyatam nitva brahmakareణ chintayet vidvan nitya sukhe tishtet dhiya chidrasa purnaya. So this is the phalam of this knowledge. Phalam of moksha phalam or mukti sadhyo mukti phalam. A contemplator will see that effect in his daily living also. Drishyam hi adrishyataya adrishyatam nitva. Drishyam hi adrishyatam nitva. Ultimately see that all the drishyam name and form is nothing but this adrishya atma. Ultimately, all the solid matter principle that I'm seeing as name and form, it is not the reality. This adrishya, imperceptible consciousness alone is the whole thing that is there manifesting. And therefore, every drishyam, every name and form has to be resolved into this Atma Swarupa. Every name and form should be seen as Atma, intellectually, mentally stripping the name and form. Stripping the name and form. The name and form is nothing. What is there is only this Atman. So, drishyam hi adrishyatam nitva. May you slowly withdraw your attention from the Nama Rupa Jagat to the Adrishya or that Atma which is not available as an object. So let all the objective world be resolved into nothing but this Atma Swarupam. Brahmakarena chintayet. This is nothing but Brahman. Resolving the whole name and form universe into its content, Brahma Atma. So, what it says, Chintayet, Brahma Karena Chintayet. Let the whole universe be seen as Sarvatma Brahmatma Rupena. Let all the names and forms be resolved into that Brahma Atma Swarupam. Vidvan Nitya Sukhe Tishtet. This Vidvan, this person who knows, the one who knows is Vidvan. The one who has learned to see this. The one who has the Samyak Darshana. The one who is called as a Jnani Bhakta by Bhagwan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So such a person, Vidvan, Nitya Sukhe Tishtet. So this Vidvan, when he sees himself as the Sarvatma, there's nothing else in the world other than this Atma Brahma. Then this person is abiding in what? Purnatva Swarupa Atma Brahman. Anantatvam of Brahman. Ananda Swarupam of Atma. Abiding in it. And therefore, Vidwan Nitya Sukhe Tishted Dhiya Chid Rasapurnaya. Chid Rasapurna means what? Chid Rasa means what? Purna means what? That Purnatvam. Do you mean that you are experiencing the Purnatvam? No, I am that Purnatvam. I am that Purnatvam. I know I am, just like I know I am Purna. I know I am Asangaha. There is nothing that I need, nothing that I want. All the desires have gone. Where? Because I am Purnatva Atma. There are nothing in my mind. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. This is what he's saying. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. That is happiness, sukha swarupa atma. I am just an abode of sukha. I am just an abode of ananda. I am ananda swarupa eva. There is nothing else here. This is the phalam called as the Jivan Mukti, phalam of this Nididhyasana. That is the 15 limbed Nididhyasana, which we have been seeing for the last more than 20-25 verses. We have been seeing that. Now, 143rd verse, the penultimate verse, he says, Ye bhirangaihi samayuktaha rajayoga udahritaha kinchit pakva kashayanam hatha yogena samyutaha. So here Bhagwan Shankaracharya uses two words. Nididhyasanam he calls as Raja Yoga. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Asanga Atmasmi, Aham Purna Atmasmi, Aham Sarvatma Asmi iti. The contemplation on my real, my Swarupam. This concept, that is dharana, dhyanam, samadhi, which we call, in and the Ashtanga Yoga philosophy, that which you call as Nididhyasanam here, he calls it as Raja Yoga. So he says, Ye bhihi angaihi samayuktaha Raja Yoga udahritaya. These 15 angas that I talked about, which talked about nothing but leading me to my Swarupam, this particular Nididhyasanam is called as Raja Yoga. This is called as Raja Yoga. Then, those who are not fit for this Nididhyasanam, because of certain problems with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, those who are not prepared, those whose minds and sense organs and the body are not yet prepared for this kind of a nididhyasana, what should they do? He says they should follow the Ashtanga Yoga system to condition and fine tune their bodies. So kinchit pakva kashayanam. Kinchit pakva means manda adhikaris who are not yet ready for this kind of a nididhyasanam. Kashayanam, those who still have a lot of kashayas, impurities, there is no chitta shuddhi, no adequate chitta shuddhi, no chitta naischalyam. Yes, Shravanam has happened, but no adequate preparation of the mind for nididhyasanam. The mind runs here and there. The sense organs run here and there. In such patients, kinchit pakva kashayanam, for those who are manda adhikaris, madhyama adhikaris, those who are not capable of this kind of a committed nididhyasana, they have to follow what? Sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, and fine tuning their body, mind, sense complex with yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, etc. Those steps of Yoga Shastra, which he calls here as Hatha Yoga. Here, Hatha Yoga is just a word given here by Acharya Shankaracharya, where there is more stress in conditioning and fine tuning and making the body mind sense complex capable of this kind of a nididhyasana, this kind of an intellectual activity. So, this nididhyasanam, the 15 limbed nididhyasanam, Bhagwan Shankara calls it as Raja Yoga, and those who are not yet prepared for it, or those who have not got the benefit of it, they probably will have to see whether they need some more conditioning, some more preparation of the body mind sense complex by Shama, Dama, Uparama, which also we call as Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, etc., Pratyahara, which also helps in conditioning this body. One should go back to that, prepare the instrument, the body mind sense complex instrument, and then only come for this Nididhyasanam. The last verse says, now we have come to the last verse, Paripakvam mano yesham Kevaloyam cha siddhidaha Gurudaivata bhaktanam Sarvesham sulabho javat. Paripakva mano yesham. For whom? There is a paripakva mana. The intellect is pakva. Means what? Karma yogena chitta shuddhihi, upasana yogena chitta naishchalyam, and amanitvadi values following that pakvata or maturity of the mind. Enough of shravanam, enough of mananam, shravanam, mananam sufficiently done. Such people, they are ready, ripe for nididhyasanam. So paripakva mano yesham Kevaloyam cha sadvidaha. Okay, so this Raja Yoga alone, this Nididhyasana alone is enough for a well prepared instrument, a well prepared intellect. Not only that, there should be something else. Grace should be there, blessings should be there. Purva Punya in the form of spiritual Punya should be there. And that is in the form of what? Guru Daivata Bhaktanam Sarvesham Sulabho Javat. Okay. This kind of attaining or abiding in one's Atma Swarupa, which is called as Jivan Mukti, which is the ultimate goal called as the Moksha Purushartha of every person, cannot go on without the blessings of Guru and Deva or Ishvara. Ishvara and Guru Kripa. We have already talked of four types of blessings, no? That is, Ishvara Kripa. I should have had enough of spiritual punya. That's why it is said, whenever we do any worship, whatever our sankalpa is, let this give me spiritual punya for my spiritual growth. So punya can come in material punya also, spiritual punya also. So, there's Ishvara Kripa, then there is Guru Kripa. I have to get the right Guru who is going to really give me holding nothing back, teach me till I have understood it, with whom I can very freely and openly discuss my doubts, pose my questions, pariprashnas, ask for clarity. Then we have to have the Shastra Kripa. The Shastra has to bless me. It should be available to me. Available means what? There are people in whose houses Shastra Shastra is there. The whole family are Shastrajnas, but this person may not be interested. Though there is Shastra in and around them, the father, the grandfathers are maybe gurus teaching, but this person may not be interested. That is also non-availability of Shastra. Or I may be interested, I want, but I'm not getting any access to the proper teaching, Shastra Kripa. So Ishvara Kripa, Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, then Atma Kripa. Everything may be there, but if I am not interested, oh, let us see next time. Oh, let us see. Today I have some other work, so let me see. So if there is no question of, fine-tuning my body, mind, sense complex, no commitment, no interest, Atma Kripa is not there. The other three Kripas, even if they are there, they become totally a waste. So he says, Guru Daivata Bhaktanam Paripakva Mano Yesham. Everything has to come together. Sarvesham Sulabho Javat. It's not difficult, he says. Moksha or mukti is really not difficult. It is just turning my vision 180 degrees. Avritta chakshuhu amritatvamichan. That is, avrita chakshuhu means, completely turning my vision towards the right vision. Having the clarity of vision as to what is Satyam and what is Mithya. Having discrimination and clarity about what is the real and what is not the real. And who I am, what I am, or who am I really. So if I go through the proper way, the way Vedanta asks me to go step by step, it is not difficult. It is just a matter of time and commitment. It's not difficult at all. With this, we have completed one of the most beautiful works of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya called Aparokshanubhuti, or what is it? Immediate knowledge, direct knowledge. Ahamasmi, aham Atma asmi, aham Brahma Atma asmi. This immediate, direct aparoksha jnanam is what is called as aparoksha anubhuti. With this, we'll end. And as usual, I have to thank all those people. I have always taken their name: Shantish, Archana, Leenata, Nitin, that so many others who are working behind the scenes for this to happen week after week after week for the last 4 years. And I'm very grateful to them. And the next text that we'll be taking up by the blessings of our Puja Swamiji is a very small Upanishad called as Kaivalya Upanishad. And we will start the Kaivalya Upanishad from the next section. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्